Hello friends, this is Max, welcome to my channel. I'm a massage therapist and an osteopath here in Barcelona, Spain. In this video, we're gonna work on hyperlordosis. That is a problem that my client is developing since she was a kid. As you can see, she has a nice curve, but that nice curve is creating problem in her back. So she's suffering of sciatica pain, and most of the technique I'm doing today are the aim is try to release this kind of pain. As you can see, I was starting with relaxing the quad muscle that is involved in what is called the lower cross syndrome. Lower cross syndrome that see the quad muscle, the erector spinous, the iliopsoas. And what we're doing right now is working on the multifidus and on the erector spinous. So the idea is to go slowly into the muscle and try to release all the tension that the client can have when she feel or he feel sciatica and some pain going down into the leg. She was complaining that she has to take ibuprofen. She has to take actually really strong medicine from the doctor to avoid the pain that that kind of pain you have in the back. You cannot even sleep. You can even move without having some kind of pain release. So right now we are working on the thoracic. The thoracic was tight too, and we are working on the rhomboid that is really tight. And as always, as soon as I start the mic, I have all the dogs of the city start barking for some reason. If it's not the dog, generally it's the working people. Well, anyway, we go back to the sacrum that is really tense because the position of nutation. So the sacrum can be in two positions: nutation, neutral, or contra nutation. We have here a really nutation of the sacrum. So that means that the sacrum is bending forward. So that creates a lot of tension in the iliac ligament, sacroiliac ligament, and a lot of tension sometimes even in a sacrotuberous ligament. That is the one that stops the nutation. So saying this, we are working again. I'm doing a complete work. I'm not just concentrating on the hyperlordosis that she developed, and even testing the mobility of the leg. So right now I'm pulling to see if that was creating some pain in the back or in the hips. She wasn't feeling any pain when I was doing that. Actually, she was feeling release. So that means that feels good on the back of the feel on the back, so in the sacral and on the lumbar. So I decided to give her more of that good medicine, and I went in this position that is front thigh massage, allow you to really stretch the back. And then some mobilization. I know, guys, if you follow me for a long time, you see this very often. It's the mobilization is not just a mobilization of the hips, is try to test the internal and external rotation of the hips and see if there is some kind of pain when the movement or some kind of restriction. Now we are moving into the adductors. So the idea is to have this kind of tempo massage where you move and in the same time you press on the trigger points. And here some work on the calf. I find this position really comfortable, actually. Of course, you got to be in some kind of relation, trust relation with your client. So you go in this position, you can put the leg on top of your leg and work in extension and flexion, eversion, and start working all the way up into the medial line with this dynamic kind of no meditation, but dynamic kind of movement and massage. And then you can move to the to the lateral line and moving into the tibialis. Okay, now we have some really interesting work on the multifidus and on the facet of the lumbar. So you can't really see what I'm doing, but what I'm doing is I created a contronutation of the sacral and at the same time pushing my finger into the origin of the multifidus and of the iliolumbar ligament. I will do the same in another with another angle, but the idea is just like to create mobility in that direction. And then you can even stretch the iliopsoas. That is one of the muscles that is involved in the lower cross syndrome. So sometimes you find that people with lower cross syndrome have really tight iliopsoas. So it's for Kappanji is one of the main important muscle that you have to stretch. I hope I'm not butcher what he said, but I'm not a doctor. I learn from experience, from books. I'm certified, but I'm not a doctor. I'm not a chiropractor. I'm just a trainer and that learn how to fix people. So, and even this kind of movement, I found that the rhythmic, relaxing movement of the joint and especially of the sacrum, and now we see another version of this, is really beneficial for because sometimes the tension that is created, that is it's good to have tension in the back. It's good because there is a guard muscle that is try to avoid any nerve pain or nerve impingement. So the sacrum becomes super tight, the muscle becomes super tight to avoid any movement. But sometimes you want to try to release that tension. And I think the rhythmic movement, the rhythmic movement with stretching, myofascial release, trigger point, all that together can really work wonder on certain part of the lower back. So what I'm doing right now is like opening up the facet, opening up the muscle in the lumbar with this in this position. I found that even different angle allow you to work on different muscles. So I'm working on the multifidus, on the longissimus, but at the same time I'm relaxing all the sacrum. So you got to be really gentle. You got to be kind of it's like a dance that you have with your client. Of course, this is you have to have a good trusting level with your client. She's been a client for like 10 years, so she trusts me. But if you're not, if it's the first time, maybe I will try to avoid that position, try to do the same movement in another position. That position is just comfortable. It's just really comfortable. And now what I'm doing is like actually activate the adductor and the abductor, so that she will have a pop in the pubis muscle. And then a technique that I stole from Kelly Starrett, one of the best guy on internet for mobility. And what I'm doing is just activating in contralateral movement of the legs, so that the sacrum is activated, and it can even adjust itself in that way. And now some diagonal mobilization, of the lumbar. And some work trying to release the muscle in the sacrum. So what you're doing, you put the finger on the sacrum, on a different vertebra on the sacrum, and you, with the weight of the leg, you just pushing down the sacrum, and in the same time you push up the leg, and you give this rounding movement. It feels really good. Sometimes can be really painful actually, but it's a lot of benefit. And I'm stretching the psoas on the other side. And again, some more work. This is another way to mobilize the hips. And now some working on rotation. You got to be really gentle in this case. As you can see, I was try to release. Here you actually kind of stretching between the lumbar and the thoracic. And then some snake movement, let's call it like that allow you to release the oblique line, the oblique sling. We have this oblique line on the front and in the back. And you always have to consider this kind of fascial line when you work with your client, trying to figure it out if along the fascia there is some tension. And if the pain is locked, you start from local and you go peripheral, but always try to figure it out along the line, the different that you are working on, and see if the muscle on that line are tight. Now we are working on the iliopsoas, the classical. You don't want to press too much, because sometimes when you have hyperlordosis, you want to avoid, sometimes the vertebrae are already kind of shattered together, and sometimes they even push in the front, and that can create spondylolisthesis, and we want to avoid that, so you don't want to create that pushing into the lumbar. Now we are in this 4 position. This is one of my favorite positions to work the glutes. Allow you to reach all the 6 deep rotator, allow you to go deep, and you can even, in a way, calibrate the weight you put on the elbow and all the way into the glutes. She was complaining that when I was working on the piriformis, she was feeling the pain goes down on her leg. So that means that the piriformis probably was shattering a little bit. It was on top of the sciatic nerve, and maybe it need to be released. Hopefully this help her out. She was sent me a message the day after. She said that she was feeling pain, but 2 days after she was feeling much better. Sometimes when you give a massage, you have pain the day after because it's inflamed. You work on it, and it's a different kind of pain, though. It's more like when you work out. When you work out really hard, and you can move your arms, so you can walking down the stairs because your muscles are so tense or it's so painful. It's kind of the same thing when you have the massage for the first time, or you are not used to this kind of massage. And now some work again into the longissimus and into the erector spine. So you can see from another angle. I like to use the fist because you can get kind of deeper with a knot and with a knuckles, and allow you to really pinpoint some part of the 6 deep rotators, especially when you work the piriformis. This is for me is a go-to technique for the piriformis. So you opening up, you stretching the piriformis, at the same time you are working on it. I was asking to contract the glutes, that help to open it in the front. You can even change direction. You can when you work on the stretching of the quad, you can work a different part of the quad. just turning the foot in one direction or another. Now what I'm trying to do, I was trying to cue my client into control nutation on the posterior pelvic tilt while activate the hamstring. Because I wanted to create a post-isometric relaxation, and when you contract a muscle, you have, if you contract it for like 10 seconds, you have that post-isometric relaxation. What is it? It's a moment where the muscle is completely relaxed. It's more relaxed than if you wouldn't done that. So that's a perfect moment where you can just go and work on it. That is a Thai technique. I don't know if it's the real name. I know that somebody wrote a comment, and it was very funny. And so I call it the crunching tiger. You go on top of your client. Really watch out doing this kind of stuff, guys. In some part of US, you can do it. In some other, I think it's legal. But it's a liability. So if you don't know what you're doing, really ask before you go on top. You got to ask. And now some massage of the traps. And at the same time, you can adjust the thoracic. Sometimes when you just go there, you can adjust the thoracic. As you can see, I'm not going really deep into the lumbar. I'm just working on a thoracic, most of it. See, that can be a good crack, for example. And then you can move around. I really like be on top of the bed, because it allows you to work in a different angle, to use your body weight and be able to really go deep into the tissue. So sometimes you even want to maybe make your table lower, so that you can get up and get off easy without breaking a leg, for example. So now we are on the sideline. So you will see some work on a sideline position that is super important. I use it a lot to work the rhomboid and to work the QL that I was warming up. You will see how I'm following all the line, all the way from the sacral into the thoracic and into the rhomboid. This is one of the best positions. You can even work the traps like I'm doing right now, stretching up. And why I'm working this muscle? I mean, I think sometimes it's good that after you work for a long time a muscle, you want to work in another region. You don't want to stay an hour on the same muscle. So you can go work another region, and then you will notice when you go back, all of a sudden, or magically, the muscle that you were working before that was still tense when you left it, it's relaxed. So whereas I don't really know the reason behind it, but it's sometimes it's happened, and that's what I'm doing. Then I'm working on the thoracic, and then I will go back into the QL. It's kind of to make the nervous system worry about some other muscle, so that when you go back, you will be a brand new, more relaxed fascia and muscle. So now I'm working on the latissimus, but actually the latissimus can be involved, like we were saying before, on the cross sling on the back, because the latissimus is connected by a fascia with the glutes. So the left latissimus is connected with the right glutes. So sometimes you can have this kind of tension caused by a tough stiff latissimus. Yeah, some more massage. And then finally, this is probably the best technique to work on the QL. QL muscle, really important. Generally the QL, it's tense. If it's tense, probably you have even a tense opposite glute medius and opposite hamstring. So you got to consider this pattern of contraction. So I'm stretching the QL, I'm stretching the TFL. QL and TFL works in both ways. This is one, yeah. Here I'm working on the origin, on the innominate, try to break that tension there. And then opening up, try to release, try to create space. So I'm pressing with my elbow while I'm pushing in and opening up the QL. Yeah, this is a long work because she was really have a lot of pain. Of course, when you put your client in a certain position, you got to check that the position is not painful. If you find right away that the position is painful, it's better to adjust or to regress in an easier position. Here, easier position would be the leg would be like bend. The straight leg would be bent instead of me straight like it is. Yeah, well, this is again same work. I didn't tell you that I have a Patreon. A Patreon is called Deep Tissue Lover. It's massage to plus size women. It's mostly ASMR. It's not for everybody. It's it's getting successful. So check it out. You will like it. And now some work on the sacrum. Again, that was the technique I wanted to show you before when I was working into the multifidus, into the longissimus, into the sacrum, into the iliolumbar ligament. So I'm creating contronutation. And now some work, a close-up of what I was doing before. This is kind of a repetition, sorry guys. But as you can see, I'm getting closer to the end of the video. And you can reach the neck. You can start working on the traps, stretching it out. Sometimes you can even ask the client to just come up with the head, activate the traps, and then just make them relax. So it's like a PNF or kind of a technique. So yeah, sideline position, one of the best position to work shoulder, to work the QL, to work the rhomboid. And now we are about to finish. We are working on the splenius. Mostly is a work of the scaling, back scaling. You're working on the back scaling and you're working on the traps. So you kind of move, you move the neck back and forth in flexion extension. You can stop at the base of the skull or you can go all the way down. You can even do some tilting working on the traps and with a trigger point. It feels really good, guys. When you do that, it feels really good, especially to work that 4 little muscle we have close to the neck. And now some work on the temporal muscle, and you can add even rub in your in the head, and after hard work you can just give this kind of a relaxation technique to make her feel at home. I always believe that finish in a relaxing way is the best way to finish a massage, in a parasympathetic and not in a sympathetic way, if you know what I mean. And it's super important for the client to come back. You want them to live in a parasympathetic state, relax. And this is it, guys. If you like my video, subscribe and check my Patreon. See you soon. Thank you.